Hey, welcome to another edition of Kyle Meredith with. It's the interview series presented by WFPK at WFPK.org, Consequence, and the Consequence Podcast Network. Thanks as always for making your way here, for checking out the series. Of course, you know what to do. If you like what you see, what you hear, hit that subscribe button. I put out 3 new interviews every single week, so it's a great way to keep up with all of your favorite artists. And I'm so excited. The Bacon Brothers are here today. We've got Kevin, Michael, brand new record, Ballad of the Brothers. Hello.
How you doing?
Hi,
Hi.
Kyle.
It's a pleasure to have you guys on here. And I should also point out I'm here in Louisville, and you guys are going to be playing here later on this year, September 22nd at the Bourbon and Beyond Festival. Behind this fantastic record, I've been a fan of you all for a very long time, following the musical sides of the careers. And I really don't want this to come across like, because this is the point in the interview, I'd say, oh, it's a great record. But there feels like there's a little bit of magic in this record, a little bit more than usual, something else going on here. And I do want to throw out the congratulations to you both, because this is such a great listen.
Good, thank you. That's awesome.
We'll take magic.
There is. I also want to point out, though, that I noticed that it's coming out, I believe, on the 19th, which is the same day that Taylor Swift and Pearl Jam are releasing their records.
Oh, that's bad for them.
So I don't know if you think of them as competition, but I think you guys can pull it off anyway.
We're going to do our best.
There's room for everybody. There's room for everybody.
Yeah. At this point, after having done this for nearly 30 years as this band, are there starting points to your records anymore? Does it happen like that?
I would say no. I mean, I think it's kind of like this process of, you write one and Mike writes one and then I write one, and then we sort of turn around and we go, wait a second, there's enough tunes to, make a record now, or call it a record. There's no kind of driving moment where we say, hey, time for a new, group of music. I mean, it's always just been driven by the songwriting.
The great songwriting. And I'm looking at the title track, which, Michael, this is one you penned, right? Did I read that right? Yeah. Like, you take the title track and even a song like The Dreams of San Joaquin, and looking back at the history, is there anything that you can pinpoint? Because being the Philadelphia guys, but you seem to have this really great attraction with, I'm going to broadly say, cowboy culture and the West, and it at least arrives right here. Where does that come from?
Well, I think a lot of it for me, and I'm 9 years older, so the world in those 9 years, I've never said this before, I'm just fact checking myself before I say it. You were born in
58.
58. Okay, so by the time I was really grown, we were almost into the 60s. So Kevin's experience as a listener was really, really different than mine. Our father was an architect, and all 6 of us were brought up in this little 15-foot wide, row house in Philadelphia. And he made, where we all lived in the upstairs looked like it was 1890, but on the first floor, he made this kind of loft thing with the kitchenway in the back, and then it went down to a lower level. Then there was a front door, and the kitchen had a soffit with an 18-inch Jensen subwoofer, and an Altec Lansing horn. And then halfway through to the front door, there were Marantz amplifiers, turntables, tuners. That was really all we had in those days. And then you went to sit down in the living room, and next to you was a control center for all of you could switch the source, you could do bass, treble, volume. So our first floor was really a gigantic mono speaker, and it was a beautiful, beautiful sound. And when I would go upstairs to the second floor and back to the undeveloped part of the house, the music that wafted up as I was falling asleep is still it's such a gift to me, because as a film composer, there is no writer's block. There is no, I don't feel like writing a song today. You got to be able to turn on the spigot and go. That's the way it is. If you can't do that, you won't succeed. So the things that they loved opera, they loved ballet, they loved classical music, they loved world music, Miriam Makeba. I was listening to African music and folk music, the Weavers, Pete Seeger. Then we had our older sisters started with the rock and roll. They were really Bobby Soxers, and with 48 RPM piled up, this high. So the music that I grew up with was really, really eclectic. And I think by the time Kevin came, sorry to be speaking for you, bro, but by the time Kevin came along, first of all, I think my parents were kind of done. They'd already had 5 kids, and here's the sixth kid. And like, whatever, you do what you do. And I think that Kevin was a little less influenced by the ambience of our house and much more influenced by the city of Philadelphia that was all of a sudden exploding.
But especially, and like I said, and knowing, like I had, I lived off and on with grandparents through the years, and the way, that's what I was wondering, like Western culture especially was so prevalent in those households, even though we were not from the West. I mean, that was to me, I think I knew it was a generational thing. But even hearing you talk about the composing side, like I can hear this like Morricone meets Marty Robbins that sort of happens, somewhere in the middle with that
I like
Texas
that.
swing.
I like that combination a lot.
And then you get and like on the Dreams, I mean, I don't know who's duetting there because it's that classic Emmylou sound. Who are you all singing with there?
Well, let's see. Oh, it's Cindy Alexander, who's a friend of ours from California that has been opening for us and been a pal of ours for years. And I just love her voice. It's almost a little bit like Pink. It sort of almost has a classical operatic kind of feel to it. Beautiful vibrato. So she did the vocals on that, and she also did the vocals on We Belong, which is the song Kevin said. And then there's our keyboard player is a bass, so he did the vocals, and then Kevin did one, and then our bass player did the other one.
Yeah, it's a great sound. It really is.
Love it,
The
too.
album to start off then on this complete rock and roll side, as you're kind of hinting at right there. I mean, Take Off This Tattoo. I'd love to hear the impetus for this song right here because one, kick-ass way to start the record, but also I was thinking like, I don't think I've heard exactly that story before.
Yeah, I mean, so it kind of came, my son has a lot of ink, and I think there was he didn't take one off, but he got it kind of reworked because because of just personal stuff, moving on from whatever you were doing when you wanted that tattoo. And not only was he sort of the inspiration for this song, he also produced it. And we didn't write it with him. We wrote it with some songwriters down in Nashville, and basically, went down and sat with them and said, "What do you think about the idea of someone that has a regrettable tattoo?" And I had kind of, as I kind of tend to do if I have a writing session, I'd at least try to come up with some kind of germ of a few different, ideas. And generally Michael does, and the writers do. And everybody kind of sparked to that. But the demo that was not really even a demo. When you write in that way, you just basically are writing it on guitar. So the first version of that song was pretty much of a country kind of sounding thing. We were in Nashville, and I think that of course, especially the way country is now, it could live as a country song with a completely different production, but we wanted to just give it a little bit of edge and a little bit of electronica, which is what Travis's kind of sweet spot. So put it in his hands, and he started building that track. And then we came up with the idea of, we have a friend that Michael might have mentioned who's a great fiddle player, and he can play sort of across a lot of genres, but he has a great rock feel. Mm-hmm. So we put that fiddle on and kind of said both to him and to Tribe, think of this like an electric guitar. Like think of the parts and the solos and stuff like an electric guitar, play with a fiddle.
Yeah. For you vocally, like, does that allow you to do something different vocal when you, genre, it's always kind of thrown out there when they talk to you all, when anybody talks to you all, because you always touch, but do you get to try different vocal things when you get to switch around like that?
Yeah, definitely. And I enjoy doing that. I mean, it's a, um, I'm an actor and I'm a character actor. So like, I don't, I the voice of the character is always something that I have to find. Um, I kind of feel that way a little bit with the singing, although it's a little bit elusive sometimes. But I've always liked singers who find a different place depending on what they happen to be the song that they happen to be singing.
Right. Something about that believability. Like, I believe that's in the song,
Hmm.
heard in the voice. I'm kind of looking at the track list here. Airport Bar. I'm surprised there's not more songs written about airport. I mean, there's a lot of road songs, and I feel like that maybe falls into that.
Well, yeah, it's definitely a road song. I don't know. It's always been a fascinating place to me. You walk by and people are delayed, and you can either look at it as an oasis in a desert of travel, or you can look at it as the saddest place in the world. You know, but the song, part of the song is a little bit about. I mean, certainly about heartbreak and breaking up, being lonely, and all those kinds of things. But there's also a verse that has to do with the fact that airport bars, people make connections with each other, connections that they may never ever ever have again, and so it was kind of a an exploration of that.
Yeah. Michael, you were saying a minute ago how, coming at it from different spots, you and Kevin, especially your writing, like what are you able to verbalize? Like, what is it? How do you write versus how he writes, and how do you know when it clicks?
Hmm.
A couple of things I was just listening to Kevin. The first thing is I can't sing that I'm aware of in any other voice than what I sing in. I don't, I, if I try to do that, it doesn't feel right to me. So, and maybe I do push things a little, maybe I have a little more rasp, but I kind of feel like I'm stuck with myself at this point, for better, for worse. Um, how our writing is, well, let me make some observations about Kevin's writing. Like, for instance, the airport bar, we were walking in an airport, and it was 9 o'clock, and there were a bunch of revelers who were clearly going to the Caribbean and who were just having an absolute blast. And we noticed it. And I think the airport bar is the one place where most people who would never consider drinking alcohol before 6 o'clock couldn't care less what time it is. It's on. And a lot of Kevin's writing is we'll go through experiences, and then 6 months later I hear how he processed the experience that we happened to share in that one day. So um, I think that my songwriting output is much more tortured. I find it really frustratingly slow. Instrumentally, as I said before, I can just write. But songs, and to get a lyric, and I think it's really not so much writing a song, it's writing a song that you feel like you can play for people who paid a lot of money and went out to dinner to come to hear your show, and it's got to be worthy of that. And I think Kevin and I both feel that way, and we have our ways of assessing that, which start with our wives. And if that goes okay, then it's the next one is the band members who are, I would, they're not, I would say with their accolades are few and far between. Let's put it that way. And then you learn the thing, and then it gets really exciting because then you have the input of all these people. It isn't just a pure song with lyric and guitar, and that's part of the arrangement. And I find the arrangement part of it really, really stimulating. And I love arranging vocals. I love putting cellos on stuff. And my latest favorite instrument is the autoharp. I think it's going to make a really big comeback, and I think that's going to knock Taylor Swift off number one.
Yeah, we
But
have some auto harp on the record.
yeah, it's just a great instrument. Anyway, so I think we are, well, first of all, Kevin is very prolific, and I am not prolific. And I think that when the greatest compliment for me is like I have this song called The Way We Love, and sometimes I'll play it and someone will shout out afterwards, "Wow, that's a beautiful song," or something like that. That's a person who maybe they had too much to drink or whatever, but to make that kind of a,
No,
no? Okay.
no.
To make that
It's a
kind of a
beautiful
statement
song.
in public
It's a
is,
beautiful song if
yeah.
you're drunk or not.
Okay, I'll take that. So that's, I mean, and I go back to my experience in Nashville, that's a town that reveres the song more than anything else. New York, it's the groove, it's the beat, it's the whatever, and LA is whatever that is. But the songwriting careers are still really happening in Nashville, even from when I went there in 1972. That it's really great to see that the song still exists without the arrangement.
Right. And everybody just knows how to play so well at any given
I know.
any drop, any genre. So your arrangements, I'll bring up the cover on here, which you had mentioned earlier, because We Belong. What I loved about that immediately was how grounded you took the song. You know, Pat and Neil's original version, you know, it's soared, it, you know, it was big, it was, and you brought it down to this, it was so comfortable, you know, the way you all do that, how you grounded that. And I don't know why
It's
you
fun.
picked that song in particular, but I love how it feels.
You know, I had this old demo of it that I had done in that with that arrangement, and I just always kind of loved that song. And you know, I just I sent it to Mike, and I mean, I had probably had sent it to him maybe, I don't know, 10 years ago or something, and he said, yeah, you know, we should cut that. That's kind of cool. And so basically, we, you know, essentially kind of did it like the demo, which is exactly what, you know. It's a very poppy song, and I just wanted it to feel just a little more, just kind of basic rock, you know, bass, guitar, drums, vocals. You know what I mean? Just put it, as you said, just kind of grounded in a way.
Yeah, but it's still not just that person. Like, you know, a lot of people do the cover and it's just the person, the acoustic, and here it is. Like there still feels like there's intelligent thought that went into it. I don't know if that's the right phrase.
I don't know about
It's also a great
that.
lyric. I mean, it could be one of those pop song lyrics, but I was listening to it in the car, and it's some really interesting, you know, kind of strange takes on pop lyrics, and I think that helps us deliver the song because we hope that our songs kind of do that as well.
Right,
Yeah.
right. It would also, of course, lead me to bring up the Monday Blues, which I love following, Kevin. The stuff you do on there. You know, maybe this is one of those obvious things. How often does what you're doing there, does that ever lead to a song directly?
Uh, I don't think so. I don't know that. You mean in terms of doing something on Monday Blues and then writing, or actually covering something?
No, I mean, I like writing, because a lot of times if
Oh,
I'm learning a song
oh,
on guitar,
okay.
I'll do that.
Yes. Oh, listen. Yes, 100%. I often get. If I listen to a great song, something that I consider to be a great song, it really makes me want to write. You know, it doesn't usually. I don't usually say I want to write something like that, but I just go, oh, I wish I wrote that song. Let me see if I can, you know, write something else. You know, so yeah, and you know, Monday Blues has sort of forced me to, keep coming up with songs that I love. So yeah, it definitely
Yeah.
has led to some writing.
Is there any method to how you pick those?
Uh, no, it was an idea just to have songs that were like kind of made me feel good. But there's been so many. It's gone on for so long. Well, first off, I ran out of vinyl, so then I went to you know, went down to the basement and got CDs and a boom box. And now, you know, I just have to use a computer because I'm sort of out of it. I mean, I've run out of ideas, and then I've gone to like theme kind of stuff. And what I'm hoping to do is to start it sort of in reverse, where I'd like people to give me suggestions, and then, you know, check out new stuff, you know, because, you know, I'm old, and I want to hear new stuff.
Yeah, it's such a simple idea for a series and has worked so well. Like I've been watching. I look forward to those. I look forward to those. You know, and for just like,
Thank you.
here's a great album. Here's some great songs. Like that's a great, so simple, and there, right there it is for you. So
Cool. I'm glad you like it.
yeah, I do hope you guys continue to do that. I really look forward to seeing this album live. I really mean that. And again, I know you guys are playing here September 22nd, Bourbon and Beyond. You've got a full tour leading up to that through the summer, it looks like. And yeah, I enjoy listening to this record so much. Thank you both for taking the time to talk about it. It's really been a pleasure.
Thank you so much for having us.
The album, and let's see if we can knock Taylor Swift off.
You got Taylor Swift and Pearl Jam, so I think you can do it because there's two of you. You know, it's
let's get them
That's
both.
right.
Come on, let's do it.
Yeah.
And thanks to my guest. Also, thanks to you for checking out the episode in the series. Before you get out of here, hit that subscribe button. Again, you get 3 brand new interviews every single week. New one every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at right here on YouTube, or of course anywhere in podcast land, including iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podchaser, NPR, or WFPK.org as well. A great way to keep up with your favorite artists and discover new ones as well. Then after that, actually head over to WFPK.org. That's where I do a show Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern. It's an hour full of song premieres, music news, anniversary spins, bonus interviews, Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern at WFPK.org. Consequence has your music and film news. You can also find me on the social media spots, Facebook, Instagram, mostly on Twitter. All 3 of them, the address is at Kyle Meredith. Do hope you like and follow along. That does it for another edition. I'm Kyle Meredith. I'll see you next time.